Hello everyone, this is Houseboy HD here with the highly anticipated and newest Paradox interactive title, Imperator Rome. In the following video, we will be checking out the strongest starting nations to play in Imperator Rome, with the aim of helping you succeed in your first campaigns. These countries dominate their respective regions, and provide the player with immense economies, unique events, huge populations, and powerful militaries. With a plethora of tribes, republics, and monarchies to choose from, spanning across antiquity and the larger Greco-Roman Eastern world, join me today as we dive in and explore the best nations to check out for your very first playthrough. Let's get started with number 10. Migrating their way into number 10 on our list of strongest starting nations in Imperator Rome are the Simonnian tribe of northern Germania. Although small at the game starts, with only 13 cities and 30 pops, the Semnomians find themselves the preeminent military power of Swabia in 304 BC, with 15 cohorts totaling 15,000 soldiers. With an initial economy more than capable of supporting their large barbarian armies, a Semnomian player can seize the advantage and immediately lay claim to their far weaker neighboring tribes and conquer large tracts of Germania swiftly and effortlessly. In addition, the Germanic region is incredibly insulated, allowing the player to conquer the entire northern reaches of the in-game map without having to worry about dealing with the outside world until they choose to colonize it, effectively quarantining them from Roman, Latin, and Gaulish threats. Furthermore, the Semnomians offer the player extraordinary flexibility, as their migratory tribe government allows you to move your pops to and colonize neighboring regions. Their last advantage is that Semnomia can easily unite the formidable nation of Swabia, offering them numerous administrative advantages and laying the foundations for them to further consolidate into the formidable nation of Saxonia. Ultimately, a player interested in embracing their inner savage and uniting the tuistic barbarians against Rome would be wise to start with the Semnomians. Whatever you choose, though, do not give Rome back their legions. Confusing scholars and confounding modern linguists is the Etrurian League at number 9 on our list of strongest nations in Imperator Rome. Largely overlooked by their Roman neighbors, the Etruscans are a powerful force in their own right, with an affluent economy consisting of 28 cities and 351 pops to sustain large armies, and an excellent 8569 starting ruler. With their territory centered along Tuscany, northern Italy, and with sizable colonies in Corsica, the Etruscans form one of the largest Latin civilizations in pre-Roman Italy. Given that the Etrurians possess a federated tribe as their government form, they offer the player a surprising amount of flexibility, allowing you the choice of embracing an autocratic monarchy or democratic republican government form early in the game. If you're the type of player that embraces alternative history, Etruria is more than capable of expanding aggressively across the Italian peninsula, and, with some skill and quick thinking, quite able to overthrow Rome and establish themselves as the center of Western civilization. Overall, Etruria is a solid and well-rounded choice for players interested in a more challenging start than Rome, and ideal for advanced players who seek numerous expansion opportunities, an ideal starting economy, and a medium-sized nation that can punch far above its weight and abort Rome in its infancy. Do you embrace Zarathustra as your lord and savior? Do you like advanced starts ripe with ethnic and religious separatism? If so, the Kingdom of Armenia at number 8 on our list of strongest starting nations is perfect for you. Far larger and far more relevant than the post-Soviet Armenian nation of today, the Armenian Kingdom of 304 BC is a sprawling and formidable country that encompasses 126 cities and 717 pops. Consisting of an autocratic monarchy ruled by a Zoroastrian minority, the Kingdom of Armenia starts in a tenuous position, with only 15% religious unity that ensures the player will be fighting enemies within as well as outside of their porous borders. It is absolutely essential that any player interested in succeeding as Armenia immediately invest their oratory power in changing every province's governor policy to religious conversion, which will ultimately convert your heterogeneous population to the Lord of Light slowly each month. With neighbors including the weak polities of Iberia, Albania, Pontus, and Atropatene, Armenia is well situated to expand early and aggressively, but care must be maintained in ensuring positive relations with the Seleucid superpower to your immediate southeast. As the Armenian culture is bizarrely classified within the Persian ethnic family, by Johan's grace, Armenia can also form Persia to obtain a plethora of claims and an additional military, civic, oratory, and religious idea policy. Overall, Armenia is a large, albeit divided nation, with the potential to consolidate, expand, and conquer their way across Asia Minor, and cement their position as the preeminent beacon of civilization in the Near East. Militarizing and mobilizing their way onto number 7 on our list of strongest starting nations in Imperator Rome is Macedon, the preeminent military and political power of all of Hellas. Highly developed, centralized, and boasting 39 cities with 598 pops, Macedon starts off the campaign as an aristocratic monarchy, with possessions that include the majority of ancient Greece and 3 subject states they can later integrate. Although Macedon starts in a privileged position with a strong military and diplomatically allied to Thrace, the Basileia of the Argead dynasty are rivals of the powerful Diadochi, or successor states, of Alexander's formerly world-spanning empire, with events and opposing interests often instigating conflict between Macedon, Phrygia, the Seleucids, and Egypt. A prudent player would be wise to expand and consolidate power to prepare for an inevitable world war that might very well rip apart the fabric of Greece and the larger Hellenistic world. Given their status as the birthplace of Alexander the Great, Macedon can ultimately conquer the rivaling Diadochi of the Far East and form the most powerful nation in the game, the Argead Empire. Upon the unification of Alexander's empire, Macedon receives ridiculously overpowered modifiers that include plus 10% army morale, plus 2 diplomatic reputation, and cultural acceptance that lasts the duration of the entire campaign, giving them the potential to be the undisputed superpower of antiquity. Overall, Macedon is by far the strongest nation in all of Greece and Southeast Europe, but for a Macedonian player to succeed, they must ensure that they secure alliances and contain the threat of the unruly and dissident Diadochi that will seek to backstab you at every turn and eliminate you from the family will. Salve amici, and welcome to the Republic of Romulus and Remus, Rome, at number 6 on our list of strongest in-game nations. But wait, Alzabo, surely the nation that was founded by men who suckled she-wolves and were ruled by matricidal pyromaniacs must be located higher on the list, right? Well, no. In 304 BC, Rome is a growing but still slumbering polity, boasting only 23 cities and 394 pops. Although initially little more than a loose grouping of central Italian cities, Rome has immense potential, with an incredibly powerful 7-9-6-8 starting ruler and 4 vassals that can fight on their behalf and later be absorbed into the SPQR. Boasting a large percentage of citizens, the Roman Republic starts the game as a scientific superpower, with numerous opportunities for expansion into the disorganized and undisciplined plebs that neighbor Rome. With only Etruria standing as a threat to their rise to dominance, the legions of the Roman consul can easily convert their neighbors into olive oil and benefit from a multitude of events, mechanics, and decisions that bless few other in-game nations. Furthermore, Rome is able to expand the Campus Martius and found the Temple of Jupiter shortly into the campaign, providing invaluable bonuses to their military might, discipline, and religious acumen. Whether you are a historically minded player, a power-crazed tactician, or just want to burn Carthage and salt Phoenician fields, the ascendant Roman Republic is powerful and undeniably one of the strongest nations in Imperator Rome. Walking like an Egyptian into number 5 on our list of strongest nations in Imperator Rome is Egypt. Led by legendary Ptolemy, the former companion of Alexander the Great and entrusted administrator of Hellenic Alexandria, Egypt is an aristocratic monarchy with a tremendous economic might, drawing from over 180 cities and a population of nearly 2,000 pops. Possessing 3 vassal subject nations and sprawling across northeast Africa and snaking down the Nile, Egypt is well situated to conquer the southern Kushite kingdom, the Horn of Africa, and eastwards into the Arabian Peninsula. The only immediate threat to an Egyptian campaign is the neighboring Diadochi kingdom of Phrygia, which possesses a far mightier military and draws upon a vast network of subject nations and tributaries. For a successful campaign, therefore, a prudent Ptolemy should immediately form alliances with neighboring nations to contain the antagonists. I strongly recommend that an Egyptian player form defensive pacts with Carthage, the Seleucids, or even the nations of Asia Minor and Anatolia to protect themselves from the Phrygian threat. Much like the 3 other Diadochi kingdoms of Macedon, Phrygia, and the Seleucids, Egypt can unite the Argead Empire for permanent bonuses to their army morale, diplomatic reputation, and accepted cultural threshold, making them an ideal pick for world conquest-minded players. Overall, Egypt is the easiest Daiodachi nation to play, offering a strong start and ideal position along the periphery of the playable map, and it is strongly recommended as a beginner nation for those new to the game and looking to experience the mechanics in a relatively safe position. Trading their way onto number 4 on our list of strongest starting nations in Imperator is the mercantile and decentralized regional power of Carthage. Hailing from the distant Levantine lands of Phoenicia and founded by the legendary Queen Dido, Carthage is a large, sprawling, and spread-out oligarchic republic that has the potential to dominate the Mediterranean and seize control of the global economy. Well populated with a starting demography of 1,083 pops and 111 cities, Carthage starts the campaign in 304 BC as the undisputed power of North Africa, with footholds and colonies located in Sicily, Sardinia, Iberia, and the Maghreb. Carthaginian power is linked with their powerful and professional navies, totaling an unparalleled 62 triremes, the largest and strongest naval force in the entire game, allowing them undisputed control over the Mediterranean and the ability to blockade and disrupt the trading capacity of any other maritime nation. With a massive network of tributaries, vassals, and feudatories numbering 12 subjects at the game's start, Carthage has the potential to integrate hundreds of foreign pops in the early game, greatly empowering them but potentially leaving them vulnerable to overextension and wars on multiple fronts. With many historical events and flavorful decisions, Carthage is more than capable of leading war elephants into the heart of Europe and Rome itself, and by Baal-Hamun's blessing, a player can impose Phoenician culture and the Canaanite religion upon the lesser nations of the Greco-Roman world. For the aspiring Hannibals watching this video, it is imperative that you neutralize Rome as fast as possible before they expand and challenge your rule over the Mediterranean. Roma delenda est. Rome must be destroyed, and Carthage is in the privileged position to be able to do so effectively and efficiently within mere decades of the game's start. If you're the type of person who prefers their empires large, unstable, and prone to collapse, the Seleucid Empire at number 3 on our list of strongest nations is ideal for you. Possessing the most populated and prosperous economy of the Hellenic world, the Seleucid Empire boasts 425 cities and more than 3,750 pops, more than Carthage, Rome, and Egypt combined. With such a large economic and manpower pool to draw from, the Daiodachi Seleucid dynasty can field armies the size and scale the world has yet to see, and can competently stand toe-to-toe with the strongest and largest nations in the game. Even better, the Seleucid dynasty starts off with quite possibly the strongest starting ruler in the game, and by far the most competent Daiodachi Basilius, who is gifted with an incredible 9-12-6-5 spread of skills. Although their arrows might block out the sun, the Seleucids face a myriad of internal and external problems, with the vast majority of their empire following wrong religions, along with strong satrapy subject states that constantly agitate for independence, and ethnic, religious, and particularist rebels that seek to tear apart Alexander's legacy. Additionally, Seleucid expansion is largely limited and quite challenging, and a player who wants to survive and expand must face off against Phrygia to the west and the Hindu hordes of Maurya to the east, often and unfortunately at the same time, which leads to inopportune and costly multi-front wars. Along with the other Daiodachi, the Seleucids can reunite the Alexandrian Empire and are undoubtedly in the best position to do so, which will offer them the same bonuses and mechanics mentioned earlier in this video. Ultimately, the Seleucids are the strongest Daiodachi successor state and Western power in-game on paper, but their external and internal problems will often pose a headache to even the most experienced of Basilii, and will undoubtedly remind EU4 players of the Timurids, their spiritual successor. Nearing the top of our list at number 2 of strongest starting nations in Imperator Rome is the adjacent state of Phrygia, itself a Daiodachi dynasty and successor to the division of Alexander's Macedonian Empire. Although far more decentralized and slightly less populated than the neighboring Seleucid Empire, Phrygia boasts 17 subjects, by far the most in the game, and directly controls more than 320 cities and 3,000 pops, making them a nightmare to fight against and an Ambrosian delight for players interested in commanding vassal hordes and swarms of subject nations. Much like their Hellenic successor state neighbors, Phrygia is an ethnically and spiritually divided nation, and a wise player should seek to convert their provinces as fast as possible with the religious conversion governor policy. With the framework of religious assimilation in place, your military can focus on eliminating your rivals instead of playing rebel whack-a-mole, freeing you to focus on conquering the Daiodachi threats that were once your sworn compatriots. Centrally located and straddling the boundaries of Anatolia and Asia Minor, Phrygia is in an excellent position to expand in any direction the player desires, affording them surprising flexibility at the cost of porous borders and the potential for multi-front wars. The one-eyed and ancient Basileus of Phrygia, Antigonus Antigonid, is an excellent ruler, but a prudent player should prepare for his inevitable death and doubtlessly complicated succession, which unfortunately nullifies the casus belli and province claims that are given to every Diadochi at the start of the campaign. Regardless, Phrygia is undoubtedly the strongest domain of Alexander's former empire, and a player looking for a nation offering numerous and well-disciplined soldiers, countless subject states, and one of the best possible positions to reunite the Argead Empire would be wise to select them. We have finally reached the end of the list of the most powerful starting nations in Imperator Rome, so it might come as a surprise that the nation in the spotlight is neither Greek, Roman, or even Western. That's right, the strongest and undeniably best nation in 304 BC is the massive and sprawling Hindu superpower of Maurya. Located in the northern central regions of the verdant and populous Indian subcontinent, Maurya starts the campaign in 304 BC with a massive army of 95,000 men, a force capable of easily decimating any nation in their vicinity. With over 430 cities and 6,000 pops, Maurya is by far the most prosperous and populated country in the entire game, and is the best choice for players interested in conquering the world, from the undisputable best starting position in the game, as their flanks are secure and only the Hellenic Diadochi have any chance of defeating them. Furthermore, Maurya can easily unite India and form Bharatavarsha, a formidable kingdom that offers the aspiring Raja potent and impactful bonus mechanics that include additional ideas for every policy, increased diplomatic reputation, increased nationwide citizen happiness, and even tremendous population and economic growth modifiers for the Mauryan capital. And how can we forget to mention war elephants? That's right, the Rajas of Maurya can recruit and call upon the largest reserves of battle-hardened tanks of tusk and leather, which boast 50% damage resistance and decimate all infantry types and even chariots. Additionally, Maurya offers the player religious flexibility, as you can convert to Buddhism or Jainism early in the campaign for flavor if you disfavor Krishna and Shiva. Jai Balaki! If your idea of fun is playing Imperator Rome with cheat codes, and if you want a literal game shark that will automatically conquer the world for you, the best possible choice for your unpure and decadent ways would be to select this nation and subjugate the world. As for the rest of you who want more of a challenge, stay tuned for more Imperator content where we will cover the more interesting and more difficult nations to play in the Greco-Roman Indian world. We've reached the end of the video, and I'd like to thank everyone for watching. A special shout out goes to my patrons on Patreon that support the channel and enable me to produce quality content on a regular basis. That concludes my top picks for the strongest starting nations in Imperator Rome. What nations are you looking forward to playing? Do you have any recommendations for future Imperator content? Let me know in the comment box below. If you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like or a comment, as these will really help the channel grow. As always, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.